Hi everyone, back with more Escabur. So, this won't be long. Probably a half an hour, maybe. An hour at most. Okay, we left off in an intriguing position. Haas was about to say something, as I stated here. Narf is trying to figure out who most likely has a grudge against Lorien. And also, Emberstock is on his mind, but it's not exactly a big revelation to him. Because the little meeting that House had with that mystery woman, Jewel, didn't really reveal too much, or enough, I should say. But I'm going to have it be hopefully, something relevant down the line. It has to be relevant. I mean, she's from Emberstock. We know she's related to somehow to King Jenkins' crew, but why is she there? And I haven't even opened it up any more beyond that. Anyways, let's focus on the here and now. So note 93 will be what Dr. House says himself. And for this episode, I will be using good old tarot cards, a new deck I found that are very simple, actually. Not overly not too overly excessive on the metaphors. But let's draw our first card. This is what House is going to say about why or who might have taken at least his thoughts as to why Lorien was taken. As expected, wealth. So, wealth. Okay, well, that is obviously a big reason. So, first, I think House explains it could be for her enormous wealth. Or maybe access to family fortune. Maybe she's part of a rich family. Maybe she is a heir to... She's about to inherit some exuberant wealth, amount of gold. That could be a reason why. So maybe he states that she was bound to inherit a family fortune, perhaps? And so, that means she's not... The kidnappers would not have killed her. They are holding her ransom. That's what I think. But let's keep this in the confines of Narf's perspective. His experience at the moment. What he's picking up as these details go. So, House is pondering, well, he's trying to connect the dots. He's trying to figure out who in the immediate area within Cornerstone, that's to my left here, to our left, right there, who in the immediate area would do such a dastardly thing? Wealth. So she's part of a wealthy family, and she's about to inherit something exuberant. So, I think, oh, right, and I also have background music going. I'm trying experimenting with this. This is a monthly subscription. It is called Pretzel, and it's YouTube safe, so hopefully there's no strikes or DMCA, whatever it's called, problems, but gives you a lot of stations for like D&D. I think I have a World of Warcraft themed playlist going, but it's just a station in the background, kind of just fill the void. Anyways, I think my videos lack music, besides just my irritating chalkboard screeching voice. So, I think Narf assumed it was related to money. He knew her well, so that's obvious. He's like, well, that's obvious. He's probably standing there. He's like, Dr. House, I assumed it was related to money. And House is like, yes, but who would attempt something so risky to kidnap someone of such power, influence in the city? So that's where he's trying to think of who is the sketchiest out of another public official or another businessman, another person of power. It could be external. So let's ask the Oracle. As Dr. House considers all of the potential suspects, because again, I don't think Narf is going to take this to the cops yet, or to the guard, because he's thinking maybe it could be an inside job. So, and Narf mentions the assassin again. Narf has mentioned the assassins. It's someone with assassins, so it's someone who has ties to the darker corners of Cornerstone, or at least that pun works. The dark side of Escabur, the crime syndicate of sorts, or some organization where a public official may seem clean at first, but they have their hands dipped in crime. So I'm assuming Haas probably has someone in mind. So let's say after a few minutes of discussion and thought, House considers. Let's roll a d4 and see if he thinks about 1 or 4 different people. 2. That's perfect. Okay, so considers 2 potential offenders. Okay, the first will be the card drawn. Transformation. Well, we can take the card's text literally, or we can take the actual symbol there, the picture of a pot. Someone who's in charge of agriculture. Somebody who is... Person 1, suspect 1 will be someone who's in charge of magic, potions, plants, foliage, something has to do with curating. Let's say it's a person who is a very prominent seller of fine potions. So he thinks this individual is person A. So let's do person A here. Seller of fine potions and magic in my Escabur landscape is very low fantasy. I think it's been a while actually. We haven't really tampered in magic for a bit since a few chapters ago, or a few arcs ago, I should say. So, I mean, there is magic. There's that's right. It's reality. It's related to the dark dimension. It's related to these guys. So, the Dark Realms. This is where the powers come from, and I think I talked about... I don't really have anything defining regarding magic in my notes here. It was a consideration, but... Magic... No, I don't really have much. Anyways, let's just say it's potions. For now. Okay, so seller of fine potions. This person will be most likely a commercial or a private citizen of Cornerstone. Let's say his name is Gregory Fine. Gregory Fine. And seller of potions. He thinks this guy... These two are just... He's known them for quite some time, but he believes they... oh, that's right. They are most likely going to be businessmen because that is what Lorian does. She deals with commerce, I think, right? Isn't that what I decided on? Cornerstone, that's where she lives. Overseer of commerce. So she oversees government contracts, or government contracts, city ordinance, some trade, budgeting. So she handles any affairs with business. And that makes the most sense why these two that House is suggesting probably had past conflicting issues with... I like this music, it's kind of making me help me think. So these two individuals had past conflicts with Lorian. And so maybe he mentions that Gregory Fine had... Let's see what they disputed. Let's focus on Gregory Fine first. So this is the second card. The Tower. Oh, insurance. Look at that. So it's a house on fire, literally. Or a house itself, the Tower. The tower. Okay. So what could this mean? A building was set ablaze, and maybe she had to handle some kind of insurance claim, or she was approached. So Gregory Fine, his store caught fire some years ago, and she something did not fit right with the bill. I maybe she didn't believe it was an accident. So okay, so his shop was caught fire years ago. They had a dispute with Lorian. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Maybe if um, if Narf sees it as a potential, like that's pretty bad, like that's pretty serious, then maybe he can pursue that. Option number 2 is going to be this: spirituality, a church. So I think, well, the picture is of a maiden or a lady that's kind of looking out in the distance. There's a little water, a wave of water going through down the image there. A marina, perhaps? But it says spirituality. Maybe it's a church near the water? The church doubles as a marina. I mean, that could be silly, but I'm torn between the two. I think spirituality, the mention of spirituality there kind of pushes me to it being a church. Or let's say it's a ghost hunting a team. No, it's a church. Okay, so the second one is a church. And maybe that in this world, churches actually do pay a fine. They pay a tax to be there. Like, you know, in the United States, that's not something that's common, or that doesn't happen at all, I don't think. Churches are tax-free. They don't pay taxes. So, but in this world, maybe churches do pay a tax, or they started to pay a tax. The recent change in leadership perhaps led to churches having to pay some small church tax that was recently implemented by her, or she was charged to implement it after recent rulings or laws passed by the people, or direct democracy, depending on how. I think I discussed how democracy of this capitalist democracy. Let's say, well, it can't be direct democracy because there's still elected officials. And so I'm going to just say it's a standard democracy. I mean, democracy, it has a capitalistic society. Yeah, I mean, that's not even a word. Yeah, I don't think so. Capitalist. It's a capitalist. There we go. Capitalist society, the general commerce. It's your run-of-the-mill democracy, and I don't think it's too socialist. Where maybe the church. I don't like. Would the church do that? Maybe they do. So, okay, let's say it's a church, and I just have to figure out why. But first, let's figure out the person's name. So, Father. I'm not really giving out a specific religion here. After all, it's my world, so I can just make up a religion off the top of my head. Let's just call it Father Riley. I don't think I've used that name before. I can't forget to bold names. That's one habit I have to be consistent of, is bolding names, because that helps me find these names when I scroll down this list here. So let's just do a quick little quick little run through here. Just, yeah, Jewel's in a very important one too. That's obvious. Jewel, Narf. Okay, that's enough. I think, yeah. And names of locations too. Father Riley. Now, his problem was, Father Riley, their problem was the following. Solitude. I mean, that's literally what I'm doing right now. It's solitude. So, there has been a lack of attendance, so he has not been able to afford the tax that is typically paid on a monthly or quarterly basis. So let's say the church has a lack of attendance as of recently. It hasn't been able to pay the tax. Okay, so I have to remember, in this world, churches are taxed, or at least in this city, churches are taxed. So, yeah, okay. I'm thinking of what else, if I miss anything on that department. Nope. Okay. So, House mentions those two people. He's like, well, I've known her for some time. I believe Gregory Pine, a fellow business owner. He's a seller of fine potions. His shop is blah 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 down the street to the left. His shop caught fire many years ago, and that was one of the few disputes that he had with her. Perhaps he sought revenge, and another person. Then he thinks about. He pauses for a moment. There is Father Riley from the church. Oh yeah, the church. I need a name. The Church of Cornerstone. I don't know. Church of Cornerstone. It's like Father Riley speaks to me on occasion, passing. He says there's been lacking of attendance and he has not been able to keep up with his payments of tax. Perhaps I don't see him, but that's really only two people I can think of. So, Father Riley is a man of faith, but maybe there's a dark side to him. Like both these people, they probably are approachable individuals who are genuine, hardworking, but maybe their despair or something Loran did has to do with it's always with money. So maybe with Gregory Fine's predicament is that the fire put him in so much debt that he could not get insurance to cover it, or maybe there is no insurance in this world. But maybe he asked the city for help, and Lorian was like, "We don't have funds to cover your fire." And so maybe upon learning that she's wealthy, or I don't know. Again, we can expand on that. That has to be revealed later on. But like that could have been that is a foundation for the potential plot twist. Father Riley maybe she attends, and she's a woman of faith. She attends, and Father Riley heard that she was going to inherit a exuberant amount of wealth, and he's like, you know what? If I can kidnap her and force her to give me the money, I don't know. That doesn't we don't know the characters well enough. Like I have a general image of who they are and what they look like, but they can be two-faced individuals. So let's keep it at that. And so House Narf asks of anybody outside of Cornerstone, which is a good question. And I can see him asking that. Again, Narth is in the middle of the road intelligence, but a slight step above because of our stat there. We have intelligence of 11. I would say 10 is probably the average in D&D, but 11 is just one little notch above. So House is like, oh, that's actually a very good question. He's thinking of anybody outside of Cornerstone. And we can assume that Dr. House has many connections across this island here. And I'm thinking, gee, I wonder which location he is going to think about. Emberstock. It could be Emberstock. I can just simply pull a card here, and maybe this card can show us a potential clue. Or I can ask the Oracle, the D100. 75% chance it's Cornerstone, or it's Castle Emberstock. So let's go ask the Oracle. I think because of the meeting that House is having with Jewel, Emberstock popped in Narf's head. He doesn't see an official connection yet. Excuse me. Sorry. Still recovering from last week. Okay. So, he does not have any clear-cut evidence between Emberstock and her disappearance. But Emberstock has been mentioned recently, and that's what triggered an idea in his head. That's why he's like, what of anybody outside Cornerstone? That's what Dr. House takes a moment to think about. Who else would be What outside of Cornerstone would be a problem for Lorianne? Has she dealt with anybody outside? Well, there is Jewel. I mean, she just left the building. So maybe he does briefly think of Jewel? I'm going to say yes. So let's ask the Oracle here. Well, I'm going to say yes, but I want to ask the Oracle too. 90% chance it's Jewel that he thinks about. Yeah, that's extremist. Okay, so it clicks. House mentions Jewel the moment like he thinks of Emberstock. Like, I'll put an exclamation there. And so he's like leaning against again. He still has a glass of he has a drink in his hand. His eyes open. He's like, Jewel. He leans forward, and he draws a card. He draws a card. I draw a card. This is what it has to be. This will be the situation here. Satisfaction. Building relationships. This is what the card. This works. So shows two hands working on something. Satisfaction. No, I don't think Jewel was there satisfying Dr. House. That'd be not appropriate. But again, this has to do with something where she arrives. We can assume. I mean, the music's really hinting at it, but I don't want to draw that image in my mind. So, he likes long walks on the beach, on Cornerstone Beach. She was there for a reason, and I think we have not. I talked about it, but we have not officially announced why she was there. But it's no coincidence that she was there, and while the assassins. We know the assassins are from Cornerstone. Or, I'm sorry, are from Emberstock. And I think we do. Hold on, let me retrace my steps here. Again, doing this solo, I'm going to miss plenty of things. Let's retrace our steps. I'm trying to figure out the assassins, where they're from. Assassins. See, one habit I need to make better of is when I type in notes, the notes have to be outside. They have to be plot notes, not notes within Narf's experience. But I have 3 entries here of assassins. Narf says they pass encounter. Okay, so they defeat them. Who sent you? Someone from higher place. Okay, so here's a very important detail. Who sent you? Like, he bites it. That's right. He took the cyanide pill. He dies, so he did not talk. So, Emberstock is a potential link, but the assassins did not give out their identity or where they're from. Someone from higher places. That was the... I gotta highlight that, because that's very important. He ties up the assassin, brings him inside, ties to a chair. That's right, I forgot I did that. I totally forgot I did that. Now, there is the Fury Forge Club. We could go there for details. Maybe Narth is gonna check with his own resources, but he's checking out his first most reliable resource, trust individual, and that is Dr. House, aside from Lorianne. So, which means we have not given the details yet that they are indeed from Emberstock, but there is some strange connection here. Emberstock 2. Maybe Emberstock is using someone in Cornerstone to have kidnapped. So, Narf, being someone who works in the underground an extent, criminal background-ish, I'm surprised I haven't mentioned, I don't think I did, that regarding Narf's experience with the assassins, if he recognized them. But again, they had cloaks on. I might be spending too much time on that. I'll probably just have to retcon it to an extent. But anyways, mentions Jewel, and I think she's here working on a business deal, so that could be why. So here, mentions Jewel. She is working on a business proposition for several beneficiaries. I don't know how to spell beneficiaries. Okay, autocorrected. That's close. Let's see. Let's just add a big highlight there because that might be important. So, Narf asks if, out of the two original suspects that House mentions, I think he's leaning more on Gregory Prime, Gregory Fine. If Gregory Fine has any connections to Jewel being here. So let's bold those. Dr. House thinks for a moment just to recall the conversation he had with Jewel. But I think the conversation probably was not cut short, but it was compressed. Again, they were probably 3/4 or halfway through the conversation until Narf entered the room, unannounced officially. You can't forget, Stencil is still outside. He's probably getting impatient, most likely. But I don't think the original conversation between Dr. House and Narf was cut short. It was, like I said, just compressed. So maybe some details were left out. So let's draw a card and see what was mentioned in relation to that question there. Sacrifice. Ooh, sacrifice. Sacrifice. That could be a potential. So she's there to... Yeah, I think she actually is there. It makes sense why he would mention... Okay, so we're kind of reconnecting some dots here. We're kind of filling the void. That's why Narf, or Dr. House, mentioned Gregory Fine. Because she mentioned Gregory Fine. She was there to speak to him. So, there is... Yes. Maybe she was there to work out some deals with Dr. House, which is probably none of Narf's business. So, okay. So, House says there are some details I cannot share about our business dealings. But she did mention she was here to see Gregory Fine. Okay. On her, to-do list. That was one of the reasons why she's here. She's here for probably a multitude of reasons. She's some kind of ambassador for Ember Stock. So while, King Jenkins does his dirty deeds across the valley, maybe Jewel is not so innocent and she does her part and spreads their influence throughout the locations around in the southern island. So Narf smiles, seems optimistic about that. He thanks Dr. House and leaves the house. So Narf meets up with Stencil, who's waiting outside. And let's draw a card to see what's on Stencil's mind at the moment. Risk. He thinks that the longer they wait, the riskier it is, or the higher chance that something bad has happened to Lorianne. So, risk. Not the game. Stencil seems impatient, worried for Lorianne's safety. He does inquire about what Narf has discovered. Narf fills him in on the details about what they discussed, saying, we need to go speak to a man by the name of Gregory Fine. Gregory Fine. And Stencil most likely knows Gregory Fine, so he doesn't mention Jewel. He mentions Gregory Fine. I keep saying apologize, and I apologize if I'm saying Pine or Fine. It's fine. It's fine them mentioning it Pine. So, it mentions Gregory Fine, and Stencil seems knows of that man, and he asks why. So, I mean, I can draw a card, but basically Narf believes there is a connection between Lorien and Fine. And that's where I will end the episode. So, pretty short. Again, actual, like, in world time, pretty short. He finished his conversation with Dr. House. We got some good details, especially with Jewel, why she's there. And then, well, a bit. And then these two individuals, Dr. Fine, sorry, Gregory. Dr. Fine's a Three Stooges joke. So if you guys are old enough to know of that reference. Then we have these two, so Gregory Fine and Father Riley. But I think more so it's Gregory Fine who's our person of interest. So I will take that highlight off. Okay, there you go. That's all I'm going to do for this episode. Hope you guys enjoy. And I hope you enjoy the music in the background. Hopefully it's not too intrusive. But nevertheless, no rolls here. I'm surprised, actually. There has been no encounter either. It's been very quiet, actually. I haven't really gotten an encounter yet. Actually, you know what? Let's draw a card. Yep. Okay, so there's Stonehenge-ish style patience. So Narf, he assures... Narf assists... Well, no. Hold on. Before I close, I'm sorry. We're going to ignore patience. That guy standing right there in the back, that is an assassin. So, while Narf and Stencil are discussing, another assassin follows in the distance. We need to shake things up. There has been no conflict for a few episodes. I'm going to put that big, bold, italic letters. Alright. Another assassin falls in the distance. So there's someone out there that's watching Stencil and Narf talk. Okay? That's it for now. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I will see you next time.